Hi, haramai, Bliss.
Welcome.
Thank you for doing this interview. Now, are you able to tell us how old you are and what school you attend?
Right, well, as of now I am 16 years old, turned 16 in May, and I am currently attending Westland High School as a Year 12.
So did you grow up here, and if not, where did you come from prior?
Well, I consider myself a coaster as I pretty much grew up here, though technically I was born over in Rangiora. Pretty much, maybe a month or so after I was born, my parents moved down here, and I've basically lived in the same house for the past 16 years. So,
cool.
Yeah.
Very much West Coast native.
Yeah, I consider myself.
What are your main interests and hobbies?
Well, my main interests are mostly art and graphic design and that sort of stuff, but I also do a lot of sewing and other craft types. And I currently am running an Etsy store online where I sell some of these crafts I make, like these little button badges I've got on my sweater here, and soon the card deck that we are here to talk about today, as well as just lots of other stuff like custom artwork that I do for people and vice versa.
Where do you get most of your inspiration from? Have there been particular artists or particular brands that you have seen and been inspired by?
Well, I definitely grew up on a lot of cartoons, mostly at my great nana's house, because she was the only one who had access to like those channels like Cartoon Network and such. But yeah, even now I still love cartoons and anime and animation of any kind, and so a lot of my art style originated from watching those shows and kind of taking what I saw and trying to translate it into my own artwork. So I've been told that my art style kind of reminisces of chibi anime kind of an art style. So yeah, I'd definitely say that cartoons and just TV shows in general definitely helped fuel that passion.
Are you able to tell me your favourite animation series or film?
Well, there's a lot. I'll say my favourite film, I can definitely be confident on that one. I kind of have two though. My favourite film has got to be Your Name, which is an anime made by a studio which has a name I probably wouldn't be able to pronounce if I tried. And that animation in that movie, I've watched it so many times over. I've written essays and reports on it. It is one of my favourite films ever. I'm actually also very excited because that same studio is releasing another film this month, so very excited for that. But I'd also say I really like Into the Spider-Verse. That might sound a bit strange, but it's a Spider-Man movie, but it's animated. And I'm not into Marvel or DC. I don't know the terms really, but the animation in that film was just legendary. The way that they combined 3D and 2D aspects to make such a compelling like animation and story was just amazing. And I just like to watch it just for the graphics of it. So yeah, I'd say those are probably my top two favourite movies.
Top two favourite. Are there any groups, societies, clubs that you are a member of?
Well, I am a member of the school Soroptimist Club. My school, Westland High, is actually the first school-based Soroptimist Club in the world, as far as I know. And so, yeah, we were the first to ever be a school Soroptimist Club, and I've been a part of that since, maybe late 2020.
Are you able to tell me the sort of things that Soroptimists do?
Well, in Soroptimist, what we mostly do is we do lots of school fundraisers and mufti days, bake sales, the works, to raise money for different causes and events. But we also work with the international and national Soroptimist Club, like the real deal, in doing a lot of different things. People who are in the club will be invited to go to big dinners and breakfasts that are hosted by the Soroptimists to talk about the different projects that are going on and what we can do to help, and just genuinely just that kind of stuff. I'm not really a part of any other clubs other than that, but there is a rainbow group at my school that I have been trying to attend.
Are you able to talk more about the group that you're part of?
The rainbow group?
The rainbow group.
Well, I haven't had much time to join into the rainbow group at Westland High, but as far as I'm aware, it's more or less just a safe spot for members of the LGBT community to just kind of correlate and talk and hang out together.
What I can hear is there seems to be concern about safety for the rainbow group. Do you feel comfortable sharing what that looks like here in Hokitika or with the school?
Well, personally, I haven't really experienced it myself. I identify as aromantic, and that's like not very well known, so people don't really know what to say to me about it, which is fair. But I have seen a little bit. It's pretty good here. I mean, like, we don't get too much of it, but there are still those people who will go out of their way to try and hurt others and try and bully them. And there was even one case where somebody lit a pride flag on fire at a school. I think that was in Westport, actually. Yeah, it's troubling because New Zealand is quite late to the party. I mean, we're still developing as a country even. Sure, we're there, but the LGBTQ community, as much as it's accepted, there are still a lot of people who just don't think it's right. And so there's a lot of hatred towards it, and there's a lot of just confusion, I guess. But yeah, that's what I hope to achieve with my cards, to be able to educate those confused people and attempt to make a safer and more inclusive environment.
Are you able to tell us about the cards that you have created?
Yes. So these cards come from a project I've been working under called the Young Enterprise Scheme, or YES for short. They are an extracurricular program that runs in schools all around New Zealand. I'm not sure about internationally, but and it's a business-based project. So they take you through the steps of creating your own products and bringing them to life, giving you money to bring them to life. And all in all, it's just a really fun project. My card game is more or less a flashcard style deck of cards, all with different flags that the community works under and uses. And it's not so much a card game, but it is just an educational tool to spread awareness about the LGBT community.
Who is the target audience for the product that you plan to produce?
Well, originally it was supposed to be for primary school ages and maybe just going into high school, like intermediate-ish. But after pitching this product to multiple different groups of people and getting a lot of feedback online and such, I decided that instead of it just being for kids, I figured it should be for everyone. Since, well, as much as kids might not know much about it, the older generations definitely don't. Yeah, my grandma is still trying to figure out what's going on with me, but so I figured that it would be a good idea to try and put this product out to as many people as possible. So in short, my target audience is pretty much everyone and anyone who is willing to learn.
Are you able to tell us all the different, talk about all the different flags?
I can talk about some.
Yeah.
One of the things about this card deck is, given that card decks are usually 54 to 56 cards, I could not include all the flags. There are hundreds of different flags and identities, and so this is just the more well-known, more basic ones you'd see out in the wild. Next year I do plan to add booster packs with different flags from different spectrums and such to help bring a little bit more to that. But I figured since it's for very basic education, that for people who don't know much about it, I'd stick with the more basic terms. So these cards, there are quite a few of them, ranging from different romantic and sexual orientations to different gender orientations. And the way the cards will be able to be used is every card has the same flag on the back as the one that is being taught and read about. And so it can be used to play different games like Snap or Memory, where you try and remember the flag names. It can be used as just basic flashcards to help educate, that's the point. So I had a sponsor named Gender Minorities, and they've offered to fully fund my first run of these cards. And while actually looking at their information on their website, I found they had a glossary that included Māori terms for the different LGBTQ community terms. There wasn't one for every single flag, but for the ones that there were, I decided to add those to the top of the flags to help both educate about the LGBT community and to the Māori LGBT community, helping them be able to, know like what they are in their own language. So of course this is only on a few cards, like some of them don't have it. For example, I'll just grab these two. These two here don't have it, so for the ones that have, I've added it to the top there. And I've also gone ahead and added Māori to the side of the box. This is an old design of the box, but usually where it says the LGBTQ card set, on the opposite side there will be the Māori equivalent of that term. And so yeah, I was really happy to be able to add that to my cards because it just brought it to a whole nother level. And yeah.
It's brilliant, learning something, in terms of te reo Māori, so I really appreciate that. Are you able to tell us about the designs? How did you come to the flags?
Well, the research process for this was very long. I knew some of the flags because I identify with a few, and so do my friends, but to get to the number of cards I wanted in the deck, I had to do a lot of research and decide what flags I was going to include and what ones to not. And eventually, after maybe a week or so of researching and going through lists and lists of flags, I decided on the 25 for this deck. I only decided on 25 because, again, I didn't want to overwhelm the new learners. And so there'll be 2 of each card, 2 of each flag in the deck. 25 plus 25, 50. And then the other 2 will be the instruction cards and such. But so yeah, these are all more or less the more common flags. Some of them are not as common, but within the LGBTQ community are widely known of. So of course there's like the more well-known stuff like the non-binary and allies and pansexual, those kinds of ones. But I've also included ones like omnisexual and biromantic, which biromantic is different to bisexual. So I've tried to include ones that everybody could relate to in a sense.
What is your personal exposure to LGBTQ plus issues?
Well, I am still kind of new to the community, to be honest. I only found out that I was aromantic like this year, and that's why I immediately went for a pride-related project, because if I'd known that back when I was younger, it would have made my life a lot easier. But aromanticism is when the person in question who is aromantic doesn't really associate with romantic emotions, like they don't feel any interest for a romantic relationship, or they don't feel romantic attraction at all. And so of course that is kind of controversial in the LGBTQ community, but I have found that it is so good to be able to have a term that I relate with like that, because of all of the problems I've had with relationships and such, it's been such a godsend knowing that I'm not the only one who doesn't feel anything like that.
Welcome back, Bless.
We spoke about 6 weeks ago in early October.
So since then, all your cards have been produced, which I've received mine in the mail. So is that the end of the project?
Not in the slightest.
No.
Well, I'm still manufacturing and selling more and more cards as soon as I sell out. I'm currently selling my second run of the cards because my first lot is already sold out.
Yeah.
And I plan to continue on the cards by creating booster decks, that phrasing. Basically just extra little packets of cards with more of the different flags and meanings, since I couldn't, of course, include all of them in one card deck.
Yeah. Surprised where you're getting your orders from at all?
A little bit, yeah. I've had quite a few Catholic schools buy my cards, and that was surprising because Catholic schools don't usually support the LGBT community.
Right.
I mean, that's not all of them, obviously,
No.
but I was quite surprised to see quite a few orders come from Catholic schools, as well as district health hubs in different areas. I've had doctors' offices and hospitals and all sorts, just medical places buy my cards as well, which is kind of cool.
You've appeared, I saw you recently being interviewed by Stuff, and there's been some other press coverage, local press coverage of your win. Have you seen any boost in sales following that promotion?
Yes, definitely. After the Stuff interview came out, I skyrocketed in sales.
Wow.
I went from, I think I had a total of 73. Of course, half of those have been sent out.
Yeah.
But after that Stuff interview went out, that immediately went up to over 100, over 110, 120, and just kept on rising. And I was like, oh my goodness, and it was overwhelming to say the least.
So you've been busy stuffing courier bags.
Yeah.
Have you had any feedback from any of the people that have purchased the packs at all?
I've only really had feedback from those who have contacted me like via Facebook or text or like not through my form. And those people have just, I guess, contacted me in that way because they wanted to give me feedback.
Yep.
And a lot of that feedback is majoritively good. A lot of them talking about how they are or they have family who are in the community and wanted to learn more about it, and how that it was such a good resource and tool for them. And so, yeah.
Cool.
So can you tell us about the finals? Where is that and when is that?
Well, the national finals for Young Enterprise Scheme are being held in Wellington on the 6th of December. 6th of December. There's 22 teams from around the country, all from different schools, and we're going to each get 5 minutes with 2 minutes of questioning time to pitch our idea to a panel of 4 to 6 judges, and then those judges are going to pick a winner. And the following night, they are going to announce the winners. So it's going to be a very long night.
So it comes down to a 5-minute pitch and 2 minutes of questions.
Yep, just as it did for the regional finals.
Tell us about the regional finals.
The regional finals were like the national finals, but just for the West Coast. So 4 of the biggest teams from the West Coast, the teams that were doing the best in sales and production in general, were invited to the finals to have a 5-minute pitch with 2 minutes of question timing to a panel of 4 judges. These judges included people from Development West Coast and other businesses. The judges got to pick a main winner, as well as 3 kind of secondary trophies. So there were 4 trophies, 1 was for the main winner, the other 3 were for just general specific things in the business community, like innovation, marketing, that sort of stuff. At regionals, I actually won 3 out of those 4 trophies.
Wow.
Yeah, it was surprising.
Has there been any reaction at school amongst your peers in public?
Well, the day after regional finals, when I came into school, I have to walk through my school's office to get to my first class.
Yep.
And immediately I got a round of applause from the office ladies and everyone who was in the office, and the principal and other teachers came out to greet me and congratulate me. Student-wise though, I didn't have much of a reaction until I actually got a hold of my friends and told them. Mostly because I've just been so busy, I usually don't even spend lunchtimes with them, as sad as that is.
Right.
I'm usually really busy. So when I did get a hold of them and did get to chat with them throughout a lunchtime, they were all pretty excited. And again, when that stuff interview came out, I posted about it on my Facebook page, just to get a bit more traction to it, and I had quite a few congratulative messages from my friends.
Right, fantastic.
What are your hopes and goals for the future? Like, for example, I could hear that you wanted to go to the design course at Messi. I'm assuming it's the design, no, yeah.
Kind of.
Yeah, tell me about that.
In my future, after I leave high school, I'm hoping to be able to secure like a scholarship and or hopefully these could help me pay for it, to be able to go to uni. I am really wanting to go to Massey in Wellington. It just, the courses, the prices, and Wellington is the art capital of the country. I've never left the South Island, what I would give to go. I hope to go to a university in general, honestly. I just want to go to some kind of university because I don't want to miss out on that experience. If I am going to university, I would most likely, I want to be going into a Bachelor of Design or Bachelor of Art in Design in graphic design with a minor in sculpture, and if I can afford it, maybe even a business degree on top of that, even though I'm sure I already have the experience. But yeah, it'd just be nice to have that proof.
Where would you like to be? Is there a place that you have in mind? Is there a particular career that you have in mind?
Well, when I finish my studies, I'll probably move back here to the West Coast for a while. And I would hope to still live somewhere around the West Coast Tasman area, just because this is where I grew up. I love it here. It's green and it's beautiful, and the community's, for the most part, amazing. Job-wise, I'd kind of want to stay in the same area I am now, because I'm doing a lot of graphic design and artwork in general, artwork commissions, all sorts, for a lot of people online through my Etsy store and just selling my artwork in general. And I just love this work. It's so great because, especially the art process, because I get to know the people I am working with, like personally. Like, it's just, I've made so many friends and I've met so many amazing people, and I honestly don't think I could find a better line of work that would make me just this happy and excited to work. So honestly, if I have the option to, I would give anything to stay in the same line of work as I am now.
Ngā mihi nui, Belize.